It's 7:41, actually 6:41, somebody correct the clock. We're here for the City Council, Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency, successor agency, Calexico Finance Authority, regular meeting, November 7th, 2012, here at the Fernando Nene Torres Council Chambers. City Attorney, I defer to you for the closed session items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council met in closed session. Items A, B, and D on the closed session agenda were discussed. Direction was given, no reportable action taken. On item C, Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado recused herself due to a potential conflict of interest related to real property ownership. On that item, the remainder of the council discussed. Direction was given, no reportable action was taken. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Clerk, note for the attendance that all 5 council members are present. If we can go with the Pledge of Allegiance, I will ask Mr. Basa to please lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I need to have a motion to approve the agenda with the items number 8, public hearing number 10 and 11, to be continued for Tuesday, November 27th.
So moved. Second.
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Moreno, second by Mr. Hodge. Please press the button to display your vote. Passes unanimously, 5-0.
Mr. Mayor, I believe we should go ahead and go to 10 and 11 just so that you can open the public hearing and continue it to that date certain, and just so that if anybody is here, they can know for sure that this item will be
Because we
continued.
did that part of the motion.
Right.
Okay. We're going to go to public hearing, both items, number 10 and 11. We're going to open them and continue them at the next regular council meeting, which will be Tuesday, November the 27th.
At 6:30 p.m.
At 6:30. Okay, so if anybody is here for that, for those 2 items, we're not going to be discussing it tonight until the 27th. Thank you. We'll go to presentations. Okay, the first item, I believe they are not here. We're hoping to get them here at the second meeting of this month on the 27th. We'll go to the second one, presentation by Imperial Valley Transportation Authority, IVTA, on bus services available to Calexico by Mr. Basa. I asked Mr. Basa to make a presentation before this council since there is some confusion of who provides what kind of services. So, Mr. Basa.
Thank you, Mayor, for the invite, and thank you, Council, for allowing us to speak to you today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mark Baza. I'm the Executive Director of the Imperial County Transportation Commission, and we are the agency that oversees and administers the contracts for the Imperial Valley Transit operations, and that's pretty much what we're going to give you an idea of what the services that we offer. And I'm going to co-present this with my staff, Mr. David Salgado. He has really intimate details about the services that we provide into the city and out of the city, and so we'll trade places in a bit. But if you go to the first slide, we'll generally describe the existing transit services that are offered in our region. We have the dial-a-ride programs within each of the cities, within Brawley, the city of Calexico, El Centro, the West Shores community, and the city of Imperial. Now, ICTC does not administer those operations except for the West Shores, as the county had asked us to do that. But I'll talk a little bit further about an opportunity that we're exploring with the cities about a consolidated request for proposals that if the cities choose to following that request for proposals, that we would, that ICTC may end up being the administrator and overseer of those operations. The ones that we are directly responsible for are the Imperial Valley Transit, that's the regional service, and then the IVT Access, which is the complementary service for disabled persons. It is our required responsibility under the Americans with Disability Act to provide a complementary service, not a free service, but a complementary within the transit corridors that we provide services. It's a door-to-door service for those eligible persons to ride it. Additionally, we administer the IVT blue and green lines that operate within the city of El Centro. That is a intra-city circulator service, and we'll talk a little bit more about that and opportunities that we see here in the city of Calexico. Excuse me, Calexico. We also operate the Med Express. And what is Med Express? Med Express is a service that operates 4 times a week, and it's for folks that need medical services within in the San Diego area, and their destination is primarily to medical facilities. That's pretty much where they're supposed to go. 4 times a week we offer that service. It's a subscription. People call and make appointments for that, for the pickups for that. That's pretty much that service. Next slide. Just a description of our fleet of buses. We currently have 10 large buses. Those are 40 seats with 2 wheelchair tie-downs and wheelchair lifts. And then as part of the IVT system, we have 5 small buses with 2 wheelchair tie-downs. For the access, for the disabled folks, we have 8 small buses with 4 wheelchair tie-downs and a wheelchair lift. And for the blue and green lines, we have 3 small buses, 2 wheelchair tie-downs and 1 wheelchair lift. We are getting some new buses, and Councilman Hodge, as he sits on the ICTC board, has been hearing about our new buses that are coming in. We have a couple already in operation, and we have received all of the 10 new buses, but we're going through all of the licensing and preparation to get those into service. We also previously had gotten the smaller buses for IVT accesses, 8 new buses, small buses there, but we are adding 2 additional buses to expand the fleet to 10 small buses. And so all of those access buses, as I previously mentioned, have 4 wheelchair tie-downs and lifts, as I previously described. I'm going to bring my staff person, David Salgado, up here to give you an overview of the regional transit system.
Okay. Thank you, Council. Council members, basically I'm just going to run through a couple slides that are the fixed route services which exist within the city of Calexico, are provided to the community of Calexico. If you look at this is a general slide of our fixed route service that goes from Nyland down to Calexico. We call that the trunk of our service. We have smaller service routes that extend out east-west from El Centro. Our main transfer point is 14th and State in El Centro. We offer service to Sealy and to Hopeville, but most of the service does originate and exist on that main trunk from north to south, south to north. If you can go to the next slide, Mark. Within the city of Calexico, we have the route number 1, which is 1 North. It actually originates in Calexico. You can see down there at the bottom there's an envelope. That's by the post office where the route originates, the 1 North route, and it travels through Calexico in a continuous one-way loop. Beginning at the hacienda, it's called, I believe it's over by the Price Center, and you can see a smaller map that I've called out in the next slide, but that 1 trunk route there, 1 North, goes all the way through Calexico, and then it comes out on Cole and Rockwood, comes up through 111, goes through Heber, and then through the Imperial Valley Mall, and then a few stops in El Centro, back down to 14th Estate in El Centro. This is a call out of the smaller map that was on that one route, the One North route map previously, and it outlines the few stops that we have within the city of Calexico. So it doesn't include all the stops within the city of Calexico, but it does show the few that are within the city. Some of the other ones are Rockwood and Vega, Rockwood and Robert Kennedy, and finally Cole Road and Rockwood. And that also, like I said, on the One North, it begins within the Hacienda and Post Office area. And Third and Pollen is one of our biggest stops. You can see a lot of people out there waiting for the bus at any time. Mostly in the mornings, we have a lot of college students that ride our bus. We provide service for them as well, but I have some slides for that coming up. On the next slide, we have the One South, which is an origination in El Centro. So this route originates at 14th and State and travels down through El Centro, then out by the mall, down through Heber, and then to Hacienda, where the One North would begin. And the One North would continue on down through Calexico as it did in the previous slide and back along the same route. The One North and the One South continue, they are on the same route. They follow the same route continuously. It's a one-way all the way through the city of Calexico and back up north. And the next slide, we have some specialized services that we offer on IBT. One of them is the Calexico to Brawley direct route. We just recently renumbered our routes to kind of simplify how it looked in our rider's guide. You can see this is the Calexico to Brawley direct. It's the 31 and 32. It goes straight from Third and Pollen all the way to Brawley. I believe it ends in Brawley at Third and Rio Vista. And this is to save time for individuals who are looking to go from Calexico all the way to Brawley without wasting time on our fixed route trunk that takes 70 minutes to get from that point up to the north end in Brawley. This is a 35-minute trip. And I believe there's a premium fare as well on this one. Our fares are very reasonable right now. I think it's $1.50 to use this service, and the regular fixed route I think right now is 75 cents to $1, depending on where you're going, and seniors receive a discounted rate, which is 35 cents for the fixed route. Another route we have within the city of Calexico that's used quite a bit by college students is the IBC Express. We're constantly monitoring this service as it's very heavily used by individuals within the city of Calexico. And it also follows a very similar route from the One North that travels up to Heber, but it keeps going past Heber on the 111 to IBC. So that's the Calexico to IBC Express. We have a large ridership that we pick up at Third and Pollen in the morning. And that's specifically for the IBC students, and they utilize it quite a bit. I've ridden on the service a number of times, and it's used very heavily when school's in process in service.
What we're highlighting here is, a little bit about our planning process and things that we're working on for future opportunities. In the map, we highlight, the existing blue and green line that operates within the city of El Centro, and that we are carrying out. We are just getting ready to carry out a study that we're partnering with the cities of Brawley, Calexico, and Imperial to basically design operations of intra-city service within the city of, in this case, the city of Calexico, for what had previously been identified as the orange line. And I can't say specifically why the orange line, but I think it had to do with staff at the city at the time that identified the orange. It could be anything that the city would like to call it in the future if we go this route. So we're going to do a design plan for that, and then the goal for us, for the city, is to pursue the funding necessary to carry out that orange line. We have identified funding already for the gold line within Brawley. The reason we had done that is that the city was already had a terminal that was in progress, and we had been talking for quite some time with them about the opportunity for a circulator service within the city. We also okay. We are also going to be carrying out into the new year a feasibility study for what we're calling a CLXC Intermodal Transportation Center. And the reason we're calling it an intermodal transportation center, because in difference to some of the transit terminals within the other cities, we hope to have a center that will provide a pickup and drop-off for all the transit services that operate within the city of Calexico. Not just the IBT, but for the Calexico Transit, for the Numero Uno, or whomever operations that we would like to have a center for that. Taxi services that pick up people at the border crossing, and we'll talk a little bit more about potential site location there in the following slide. We also are going to be partnering with the city, SDSU and Imperial Valley College to carry out a transit shuttle study. We'll talk a little bit more in the following slides about connecting transit service from, let's say, the SDSU IB campus in Calexico to the IVC campus, and then up to the Brawley campus. As many of you may know, the college and both SDSU and IVC have a partnership, and their students will be using all of those campuses for their courses in the future. And then lastly, in terms of studies, and it's not directly related to transit, but I thought it would be good to highlight, and that is that we are going to be partnering with Caltrans and the San Diego Association of Governments to carry out a Baja California cross-border pedestrian and bicycle access study. We'll be looking at access issues directly at the ports and trying to identify infrastructure needs and operational opportunities at each of the 6 ports.
Mr. Bassa, may I interrupt you? That one you're referring to, since I sit on the Transportation Committee, I brought it up, that's actually in that active transportation plan? This is what you're referring to?
Well, I guess what I'd say is I think that is a great opportunity for us to identify projects that would be financed through the active transportation
Right,
funding
that's what I'm
that
referring
is,
to.
yeah,
Okay, very good.
that is coming down. What Councilman Hodge is referring to is that the federal government has, through this recent federal transportation bill, is providing money specifically to the states and the regions for active transportation. And that what they're defining as active transportation is access improvements for bicycles and pedestrians. And what's so important about bicycle and pedestrians? Well, it gets people out of their cars. It creates less emissions for the public, and so there's a big emphasis towards that. Are we talking about, major sums of money? No, but I think we're talking about some opportunities to carry out some improvements within each of our cities and the county, and so I think this is an opportunity for us to look at those types of improvements here in our border area and across the border.
I brought that up last time, and that's part of the sustainable community.
Mm-hmm. So the capital projects that are planned and underway, Brawley has completed their design for their transfer terminal, and they'll be going into construction sometime into the new year. The Calexico ITC, as you're hearing, we're gearing up to do a feasibility study. We'll talk, as I said, I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then El Centro for a long time, has planned a transfer terminal. That project has been designed. They've recently gone to award for that, so the construction will begin into the new year. And then Imperial also is finalizing their design. Previous projects that had been completed, and one is back in 2010, we had completed the transfer terminal at the IBC campus, and then just this year, the phase 2 on the southwest corner of the campus, that project had been completed. Next slide. So here's where we see one opportunity that our study could look at. I highlight the one parking lot that the city owns to the east of the federal port. That is one site that I think the study will look at. We'll look at other variations within the city. But in the end, what we hope to bring in April or May of next year is a recommendation to this city council, for a selection of alternative site that the city would like to proceed further. And the value of what we see is that with the study, we'll identify the type of facility, the cost, an order of magnitude cost, and then the city selects which they like to proceed with, and then ICTC and partnership with whomever to identify the resources to build that intermodal transportation center. The other study that I mentioned, we highlighted the 3 campuses, and just wanted to show that, you know, that is approximate areas of the 3 campuses, and that we'll be carrying out sometime into the new year a study in partnership with the colleges to look at transit shuttle services within those campuses. The bicycle and pedestrian study, as I mentioned, the 6 existing yellow highlighted ports of entry, we'll look at all 6 of those ports of entry for bicycle and pedestrian opportunities. We'll be doing surveys with border crossers certainly about their origin and destination of their trips, but also what are their behavioral concerns about their travel and the delays at the border crossings. And then we'll look at infrastructure opportunities. Even at the federal ports, we'll look at infrastructure opportunities that we want to identify as many opportunities to help finance those opportunities in the future. Next slide. Click that. There you go. Near-term plans that are happening. It may have been discussed already within this council, but there's been we have been approached by city staff about the move of the bus stop and shelter at 3rd and Pauline to 3rd and Heber. We were asked to consider what that impact would mean to the operations of the IVT operations. As we reviewed it, there were no challenges. We're expecting that the city will proceed with the moving of that bus stop and shelter to 3rd and Heber. We felt strongly enough about the opportunity. We used some of our regional state monies to contribute $15,000 towards the completion of that move of bus stop and shelter to 3rd and Heber. We are gearing up to implement shadow buses on the one north and one south that David recently talked to you about, the services between Calexico and El Centro. What is shadow buses? Shadow buses creates an opportunity for us when, let's say, a bus comes to a bus stop and it reaches capacity, it's overflowing. We would have a follow-up bus ready to go to follow it up. Now, in larger urban areas, what they might use is articulated bus. It's a bus that has an accordion in the middle of it. It's an extended bus. Why we cannot use an articulated bus in this region? Because the streets, the designs, the corners, the radius, et cetera, does not allow us to have it. So what our alternative is to create a shadow bus. Yes, Councilwoman.
At what point do you decide that a shadow bus needs to be brought in?
We will have that bus ready there. Right, yeah, and it's usually tied to the students, during school sessions, and the overflow there.
What number is your bus capacity?
We have 40 seating, but we can handle capacity up to 60 to 70 people if they're standing in a large bus. As we mentioned, it is in our financing plan of needs to build the intermodal transportation center. It is as well as the Calexico Orange Line intra-city bus service. So these are part of our plans. We hope to use these studies to give us the information needed to identify the amount of money that it will cost to operate those services, everything from the number of buses, number of drivers, the amount of service, the amount of, and length of the service. So that's what we hope to do with those studies.
Intra-city means Calexico, Central Broadway.
No, intra-city is
Within
just
the
just within your city, just within your city. And we'll be carrying out that study, but we have to take in a lot of things into consideration. One, we want to partner with the private operators in the city. We don't want to create a competitive thing or to eliminate the competition or eliminate their business opportunities. So we have to consider those factors into the study. We have to look at what, for our benefit, or let's say for the regional service benefit, what is the best value to improving the regional service? Because that's one of the things that we think about these intra-city services, is that it's going to lessen some of the trips that we take on the regional route, and that we can improve the regional system. So we'll be looking at a lot of those things. We'll be looking to incorporate public input and participation with the other operators through these studies, and we hope to come up with a good proposal or recommendation of alternatives to the City Council. We propose to bring both the Calexico ITC, the Intermodal Transportation Center, and the Orange Line, as we complete those studies, to this council for your recommendation to proceed. The time frame. We're going, as I mentioned on the intra-city bus service study, we're proposing to bring an action to the council in April or May. The intermodal transportation study will be getting underway in probably into the new year, and that probably will be getting moving closer to the summertime by the time we get some information together to present to this council.
But again, to be noted, these are in the study phases.
Correct. Some other things that would be of value to the services that we currently provide within the city and throughout the region, that we're looking at implementing full-day service on Saturdays. Today, we only implement partial day service on Saturdays. We're looking, one of the things that we have as part of our planning process is what we call an unmet needs process. And so every year, we get input from the public and operators, et cetera, about what we need. And one of the things that's been high on our list for quite some time, and that is to have full-day service on Saturdays, and then limited service on Sundays. These are things that we hope to implement soon, depending on the resources, but those two items right there are high on our list of financing needs. A little bit further down the line would be, currently, as some of you know, our service runs, we are what we call headways. The bus stops run every 70 minutes, hour and 10 minutes. We would like to reduce our headways, particularly in the service between Calexico and El Centro, as it is one of our largest ridership, to reduce the headways to 35 minutes. Particularly, our high priority would be within the Route 1N and 1S. As David was sharing with you those services, all of the services combined that David described to you, we have about 1,000 people that ride on all those services. average on a daily basis. And then, as I previously mentioned, we are pursuing a consolidated, the potential for a consolidated dial-a-ride service within the cities of Calexico, El Centro, Imperial, and the West Shores community. Any questions?
Masa, one of the reasons I asked you to come in is that there have been some questions as far as when you need to schedule appointments, or if this is something that people just walk to a bus stop and get picked up. So can you please elaborate on that?
Okay, well, the regular IVT, you just show up to a bus stop and you get on the bus. For the IVT access, and that is for the disabled persons, you have to call and schedule an appointment for that. And I will tell you, we're going through some issues that the demand has increased very much. That's the best I can describe it. We have, David, can you give me a number about how many people have actually started to become eligible for the service?
The contract turned over July 1 of 2011, and since then, we've had about approximately 550 individuals certified on the service, and that would also include that almost 1,000 individuals that were certified previously. So currently, we have a little over 1,500 individuals certified to use that service, and like I said, 500 since July 1 of 2011.
David, can you describe a little bit about, what the certification process is?
Yeah, it's a certification process required as an ADA service. It's a 5-page application for any individual who has a disability. It's accompanied by a 1-page physician disability verification form. So it's 6 pages in total. We process the application at that time as long as everything's correct with signatures. We require the doctors to provide license numbers. And if we feel the need, we'll do some follow-up if there are some severe handicaps. And we've been doing a lot of outreach recently because of the growth on the service and the complaints that we've been having. We are aware and we're trying to address it. So we're definitely out in front.
I did not pick up, how long is the wait time?
Well, what an individual can do under that scenario is to make an appointment, and they can try to make an appointment 2 weeks in advance. And what happens at times is that this 2 weeks in advance, the service may be booked. So they either, unless there is an alternative time within that given day that they could use the service, or another day within the service. So there's constantly, part of what we're trying to explain is that we have a large demand. There's so many people from the social service agencies that are helping some of these folks to make these appointments, that they're booking them. And we also have a concern about no-shows within that service. And so we're working on a policy, a no-show policy or late policies that would, require people to cancel in advance so that it creates an opportunity for others to use the service. There are many instances where people are calling and they can't get an appointment because on the day that they specifically need it. So if a space is available, they schedule it and they show up and they pick them up from door to door, from their home, in one example, to the doctor's office.
Okay, so if it's not within the time frame that you may have some openings to be able to take a citizen, then they have to secure transportation by other means.
Correct.
Family member, friend, taxi service, whatever.
Correct.
Okay.
It's a lot of,
Mayor?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I think the previously it was thought that it was kind of like an on-call service, but it's not an on-call service. The appointments need to be scheduled and
Yeah, because of the demand, I understand that. That's,
Yeah.
And if I may also, these schedules, these plans, I haven't seen anything here at City Hall. Is there something here in the rotunda that the public have access
Yeah,
to?
that was my question.
Well, we did bring some of our scheduled brochures, and we have a limited supply because, in part because we are getting ready to update them. And what we can do in the future is when we have our new supply, we can place some of those schedules in your lobby here at City Hall.
And this information, is it available through the website? Maybe the city
Yes,
collector can have a
it is
link?
normally available on the website, but right now it is not because we are in the process of updating that. David, do you have something to add?
With regard to the schedule, if I may, do you practice, I guess, putting it on inside the bus?
Posting of some sort?
Posting it outside the bus?
We do, with our new buses, we are starting to, we have an opportunity to place some of the schedules on the bus. Yes, we created
The fixed route schedules, yeah, the drivers always have rider's guides. Anybody using the service can ask a driver for a schedule.
Maybe they can change the color from orange to garnet or maroon?
Mr. Bassa, we do have a problem here that requires a solution because of the great demand, but let me just note, just the very fact, I think it's a wonderful service that we provide. You know, that's a great service to take these people to San Diego, but we need to do better at it. But the mayor pretty much answered my question, but in past practice, I was concerned about how we've communicated. How do these people know about this service? It's been primarily through the website?
Website, and as David said, the drivers usually carry schedules and can offer those to them, and that's pretty much how.
So these services already, it's a complement to what already is in Calexico?
That's
In the
correct.
private sector.
Great
That's
service.
correct.
Mr. Castro, you had a question?
Yes, it's a question. On the Orange in Transit bus service in Calexico, did the ICT make a study for the fiscal impact for the existing buses and existing bus transit and taxi cabs?
Well, I think there's two things, council member. We are, the intra-city service for the Orange Line, we do want to partner with the transit operators to make sure that we're not taking any of their services that they're doing. So we'll look at that. But for the transportation center that we talk about near the border, the goal of that transportation center would be to provide a pickup and drop-off for Calexico Transit Service, Numero Uno, or other bus operators, that they could also have an opportunity to have a pickup and drop-off at that transportation center.
The actual study hasn't started yet.
But that's going to be an impact fee, I mean, a fiscal impact for the transit service and taxi cabs. Or,
I guess that's certainly something that we can evaluate as part of the study. But, you know, the goal as I view it, is it's similar to what the San Ysidro transportation, the San Ysidro port. It's the largest port in the world, the largest border crossing. They have an intermodal transportation center that has a trolley service that comes there, they have bus service that comes there, they have the jitneys or other for-profit services that come and pick up and drop off their passengers, and then the taxis as well. So there are multiple opportunities. We're creating a center for multiple opportunities for even the taxis that would be picking up and dropping off.
well, still there is some impact.
I'll take seriously your point, and I think that study, that point needs to be brought out and analyzed as part of our study. That's why I think it's important to do a study before you just build something, so that you understand what the impacts are to business and what are the opportunities for the citizens.
Yes, I would like to have those numbers before anything happen. And I know you guys working on the study for that transit.
Yeah, well, we're gearing up to carry out the intra-city circular study, and then we'll also, a separate study is the intermodal transit center.
Okay, thank you.
All right, as soon as you have that study, we can provide it to the council, so they have an opportunity to review.
And we will be having outreach meetings for all of those studies that the council and others would be welcome, and we certainly will use staff at the city to help us reach out to whomever would like to participate in those workshops. Ideally, for each one of them, we would have a kickoff workshop and get input, and then carry out some of the work that we're doing, and then have another outreach session to describe, some of the findings that we had found to that date, get additional input from the citizenry about what concerns or issues that they feel we need to address as part of that study.
Mr. Bass, I'll do my part and keep them informed on those dates. If I may, I want to thank you and Mayor Romero for bringing this up. I have briefly mentioned the orange line, just want you to know I'm doing my job, and the other transit service, but it's a lot more effective when they see the slides. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and it could be the Garnet.
All right, I should change it to Garnet. And may we have copies of these slides? Could you send it to us? Thank you.
Councilmember.
Thank you, Mr. Ross.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Salgado. Okay, we'll go to announcements, public appearances, and public comments. Are we okay here? Okay. Again, not to exceed 3 minutes, Mr. Moreno, if you could please monitor it. At 2 minutes, 30 seconds, you will be reminded that you have 30 seconds to go. This is the time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. If the item you wish to comment on is in a closed session or a consent item, please comment now. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to the item on the agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council. First, Mr. Horacio Avalos, in regards to the swimming pool.
Soy señorito, creo llegar de blanco al altar todavía. Ciudadanas del Concilio, ciudadanos, antes que nada, felicidades Luis y nuestro compañero por su reelección. La gente supo escoger en ustedes. Ojalá y su experiencia así para la ciudad de CLXC y se distingan por seguir sirviendo. Primero que nada, me dijo ustedes como principales administradores de la ciudad, hay un problema muy grave y más en estos tiempos de la Navidad. Hay pues no pasan de 15 personas en este parque y otras 18 personas que no tienen dónde vivir. Es un problema grave que no tiene una solución. Yo creo que es tiempo que ustedes como administradores, como gestores de esta ciudad, se busquen recursos para construir un albergue donde estas personas puedan dormir, porque yo creo que no es humano ni es justo que el país más poderoso al que Dios ha bendecido en cuestión de prestación de servicios tenga CLXC a la gente durmiendo en la calle, y más pues es un crimen, es una discriminación que llegue la policía a los parques y los corra a dormir en las calles, en los estacionamientos, en el consulado, en las bibliotecas, y no se hace nada, ¿va? Entonces también quería pedirle pues que hablen con el jefe de la policía pues para que no los corra, o sea, de nada se resuelve con correr a las personas de los parques y mandarlos a exponer su vida, con eso no se soluciona nada. Entonces es tiempo, yo no estoy pidiendo que lo construyan ustedes porque sé que la ciudad no tiene fondos, pero sí ustedes pueden gestionar ante una institución, ante el gobierno, donde sea la construcción de un albergue, porque hay mujeres que no tienen para comer en la calle por diversas circunstancias que no son objeto de discusión, pero se tienen que prostituir, se tienen que drogar, tienen que vender drogas, tienen que hacer cierto tipo de actividades para tener dónde vivir, y es un problema que deben de atender, ¿verdad? Les pido que atendiendo a su conciencia, a su criterio de justicia, que sean más responsables. Pues yo sé que son buenos administradores, sé también que les hace falta mucho tiempo porque trabajan 7 horas a la semana, ya deberían de tener doble tiempo para trabajar, para que dejaran el escritorio de aquí, dejaran el escritorio de sus negocios, y fueran a los parques, fueran a las calles a ver los problemas para que los solucionen, porque a través de un escritorio nunca van a solucionar nada. No es crítica, es una recomendación. Segundo, pues porque son tiempos de Navidad, pues hablen con la policía para que no molesten a estas personas, por favor.
Señor Ábalos, nomás para informarle que tiene 30 segundos.
Ok, y cuarta, pues nada más eso, y recomendarle los baños del parque que todavía no tienen orinales, están en muy mal estado y a ver si los pueden arreglar, por favor. Gracias.
Gracias. Carmen Estrada. Córdoba. Me imagino que es Córdoba Park.
Buenas tardes, ciudadanos. Soy Carmen Estrada, quiero pedirles, por favor, el Parque Adrián Córdoba, hace 3 años estábamos nosotros trabajando en ese preproyecto, que ya tenemos nosotros el preproyecto para empezar a trabajar ahí y ya teníamos todo listo para empezar y estaba aprobado por ustedes. Entonces, esta vez quiero pedirles que empecemos a trabajar ahí. ¿Por qué? Porque tenemos muchas necesidades de un parque y créanme que el que trabaje en ese parque es algo muy grande, porque no tenemos parque y estamos a riesgo de que se nos quite donde estamos jugando, porque no es algo saludable para nuestros niños y es de lo que yo temo y la comunidad que pase eso, porque puede pasar. Así es que hay que trabajar en ese parque, porque yo como ciudadana y encargada del deporte estoy muy preocupada. Eso es lo que yo les quiero pedir. Gracias.
Gracias, señora Estrada. Animal Shelter. Diana Daniels.
Hello, I'm Diana Daniels. I've been here many times. Just want to say thank you guys to all. We had a great turnout on the 27th. We had about 75 people who came out and supported us. We had a great time. We laughed a lot, and we did something healthy for ourselves. And we ran, and we involved the community and the shelter and the animals as well. And we raised a few $1,000s, which was great. I'm hoping to use that money towards heaters or towards our new roof that I want to put up at the shelter. Just want to say thank you guys to all, and you guys should all get a shirt because you guys supported me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to say thank you to CLXC PD. Thank you, Lieutenant Gerardo. Thank you to the Chief. Thank you to the Explorers. Thank you to our sponsors, Rogers & Rogers, with Mr. Kuhn, West Cinderella Effect. I just really want to thank you guys for everything. Starbucks, who gave us free coffee. It was wonderful. Thank you again. And just an FYI, one of the people on this board asked me to do another one. I'm not gonna say names, but they asked me to do one in February. So there might be one coming up shortly. I don't know. Let's see what happens. But I hope that that this is going to continue, and next year it's going to be even bigger and better. We had a great time, and I really appreciate you guys supporting me and supporting the shelter, and we're hoping that we're going to get more volunteers out of it. We had more people. Everyone who I talked to had just amazing things to say, that it was well organized, and I was kind of shocked, but that was my biggest worry, is that it's going to be complete chaos, but it was wonderful. So I heard a lot of great things about it. It made Facebook, it made papers, it made, news, and I'm happy. So thank you, thank you, thank you once again, and hopefully next year we'll do it again. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Daniels. Some of us were out there, and unfortunately, I was walking 2 dogs, and one I had to carry part of the way. Okay. Javier Lopez, public bathroom.
Mr. Mayor, City Council members, my name is Javier Lopez. I live on Holdridge and Andrade. Monday, November 5th, I woke to a terrible noise right on the corner on Andrade and Holdridge, right next to my house. They're building, you guys are building a public bathroom? You know, what's going on? I went over there, some guy named Peter told me that they're building public bathrooms there. You know, this is uncalled for. It's wrong in so many ways. I talked to the neighbors around there. We oppose it. We never had any kind of notice. So, you know, I'm really upset about this. And all the people, all my neighbors are also upset. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you guys, you know, the city planner or whomever didn't send out the notices. What's going on?
Well, Mr. Lopez, I did receive a call from another citizen that has also shared the same concern. Since then, I did talk to Director Servin, and they're postponing the project.
Okay.
They're going to be taking it to the Recreation Commission for any opportunity for public comments or comments from the public that are either for or against this project. So right now, know that it will not continue until all the steps, all the procedures have been followed in order to go forward with something like this.
Where is this? Is this on a?
It's right off Andrade, right next to the Rising Field.
What would you call that little patch of grass? Would that be like a?
It's an easement. It's an easement.
It's an easement, so
Yeah.
it's not a park.
No, it's an easement. It's for, what is it, green area?
But
It's a setback from the street there.
Yeah, from Andrade. Yeah.
Right.
You're familiar, you pass by there all the time.
What's the goal here? To serve a bathroom for the retention basin where they?
Well, whatever the goal is, the proper procedures were not followed.
Well, that
And the procedures will now
will be due process.
resume.
By the way,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
by the way, Mr. Mayor, I talked to Mr. Oscar Rodriguez. He was very attentive, and he could see I was very upset because, you know, you wake up in the morning and you find out public bathrooms are being built right next to your house. It's, you know, you're going to have a bad day. But he was very nice. He was very nice about it, and he told me that he was going to look into it. And I think he did at that time call the workers and suspend it. And at this time, there has been no construction, nothing being done there. I want to thank you, Mr. Rodriguez.
Yeah, there'll be no movement on that until we run it through the procedure, run it through the Recreation Commission, up to the council.
And public notice, so they're...
Public notice will go out, just like a regular public hearing, 300 feet from where the location is.
But sir, regardless of the proper procedure, let me understand you and you're saying some other neighbors are just definitely opposed to it.
Oh, definitely, definitely. It's to begin with, council member, it would be an eyesore because you can see the bathrooms back here, and, you know, we do have, you know, good policemen, and you still have, you know, things going on there like drugs or whatever. I can only imagine what other things go on. And you have the police right here. Over there, it would be detached to any, you know.
When I received the call, I took a drive by the area about 6:30 in the morning, and I thought it was going to be on the northeast corner off of Sapphire.
Oh.
And there was somebody that was walking by and, or jogging by, and I asked that person, do you know where they're looking to put a bathroom here, or an office? And he says, over there by that property. I said, which one? Over there on the southwest corner. And so once I drove by there, I saw the dirt being moved, the grass all removed.
The back
And I go, wait a minute. So,
From what I hear, there is a place on that site where you said there's already the connections and everything there. They're coming out of the ground. I don't know.
well, that would appear to be more appropriate if it's going to be used for that field.
You know,
That's
somewhere,
correct.
or on the other one. I don't know, but, you know, I think if proper procedure is taken, we can discuss that.
Yeah, even if it's there, now you're going to have a situation where
Yeah.
those homeowners are going to complain. I know. All right, thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Thank you.
This is a clear example of not in my backyard.
Correct. Ricardo Ortega, Southwestern College contract. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, yes. This is a consent calendar, and under consent calendar items, we're taking it right now during public comments, so please, yes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to speak to the item on the consent agenda number 2. I really would like to request that it be pulled. Essentially, I'm here to try to...
I'm sorry, did you say to be pulled?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Do you want me to speak to it now?
Yes.
Okay. Way back, I don't know, probably several years ago, probably 2 years.
Mr. Ortega, let's take a time out. I'll reset your time, Mr. Moreno. It's at this item where once you discuss this item on number 2, and then there's another one for number 4, this is when you use this time. Once it goes into the consent item, only the council will address those issues. That's why we're going to take your comments at this time.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Essentially, what I'm here to say is that particular services that are being contracted out to Southwestern College in San Diego, Neighborhood House has been, is providing, and will be providing for the community of Calexico. We've been providing similar services for the past 12 years. So when we were asked, and this application was submitted to the state, Neighborhood House was asked whether we could provide these services free, as in kind, because we were doing them. And we said yes, and we wrote a letter to that effect. If these services are now being contracted out for $100,000 or more, then I request that we at least be given the opportunity to submit our proposal. If somebody else outside of Calexico is being given the $100,000, then at least give us the opportunity to match them, or at least look at a proposal for similar services. That's basically my main objective. For some of you know the projects that we have. I'm going really fast because I know I have 3 minutes. But we do provide micro-lending program, infrastructure services, and an incubator for a lot of our Calexico residents. We know Calexico. We've been here over 40 years, and we can do the job, and we can do it better, and at a better price. Just all I'm asking is give us the opportunity and give us the chance to also to present our projects and services. If you're going to give or contract out over $100,000 for several services that we're going to provide free, as in kind, so that the clients will get more funds. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Ortega.
You still got a minute and a half.
Yeah. Javier Gonzalez regarding picnic tables, item number 4. It's in the consent item.
Honorable Mayor, Council, staff, Javier Gonzalez, 237. I just want to support this item, but I just want to make sure that these benches, which are very much needed in the parks, that are placed in the right places, the right areas, and they don't end up in any retention bases. I understand those are being used for recreational facilities, recreational sports and activities, but we do have several community parks that they do have shades, but they don't have any benches on the bottom, underneath, and just want to make sure that they be placed in the right areas. Now, different parks have different needs. Like in my neighborhood, Kennedy Gardens, we need to be careful where we place them, because that park is behind houses, and I really do recommend that if you place them, that they be strapped down. Just some ideas.
All right, and so you recommend you talk to Mr. Nick Servin there to make sure that they're, give your recommendations. Okay, we'll go to now general comments by council members. I'll go to Mr. Hodge. Thank you, Mr. Rossi. Mr. Salgado.
1 second, please. Yes, I just want to piggyback on the wonderful event of Hollow Wolf Wing. It was very successful and enjoyable. And at that note, I want to thank Councilman Moreno for joining me in that subcommittee to dialogue with Mrs. Daniels and allow her to take that, strategize with her and allow her to take that leadership role. So I really seriously hope that we continue with it. I just want to mention that I attended the Think Pink Gala and a very, very worthwhile event. So thank you, Maritza, and I seriously recommend that you continue doing that if we can help in any way. All right, I know that's an exhausting amount of work, but learn to delegate in a sense, but it's something that I think that should be institutionalized. Don't you think so, folks? It was a very good event. Let me do a little report as far as being on ICTC, and I went to the monthly Transportation Committee. This is I'm just going to read the executive summary. It's short, and this would concern, and later on will stakeholders here will be included at the right time. That would be the Ad Hoc Border Committee. That would be Supervisor Renison and his team on his level. And this is concerning a study by SCAG commissioned in December 2010, commissioned the Goods Movement Border Crossing Study to assess the mobility of commerce at the California-Baja California border. Primary purpose of the project was to gather and synthesize information on goods movement across the U.S.-Mexican border in Imperial County to assist SCAG in the development of potential freight planning strategies that could address long-term trade, transportation infrastructure needs in the region, using a variety of data collection, methods of measure, border crossing travel time, and other conditions faced by system users. The study evaluated performance and reliability indicators for commercial ports of entry in Imperial County. Significant analysis was conducted to define appropriate performance statistics and identify possible strategies to reduce current congestion delay, something of very importance to us, improve travel time reliability and/or safety, and anticipate potential shifts of commodity flows and traffic across modes and routes at the port of entry. The study concluded with a set of policy recommendations to be considered by regional stakeholders to address opportunities to increase freight efficiency at the port of entry. So I'll keep you abreast on that, but this is a study that will definitely, that concerns us, and all stakeholders need to be involved. I'm going to kind of institute a monthly thing on my part, and it's called, What Accomplishments Have We Done in the Last Month? Number one, Nick Servine, my main man, did we at any time, in any way, last month, repair any streets or roads, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Hodge, for that question. Thank you very much.
We're working on them right now. We're prepping the work for the paving job.
All right, that's encouraging. But last month, there's another issue that you guys, last month, no improvement in streets and roads at all.
No, we have to do some preparation, install some laterals, water lines and such before we actually do the paving. And we're repairing some of the cross gutters, some of the ramp, 88 ramps leading to the streets that we're going to pave. We're doing all the prep work before we actually do the paving.
And I understand some of these projects take time.
It's going to take some time.
But.
And then we're going to be hampered by any foul weather too.
Number two, besides maintaining parks, did we enhance the parks? Did we plant any seeds? Did we fix any necessary lighting, sprinklers, excuse me? Did we add any new shade, playground amenities? What did we do in any way besides maintaining it to enhance the parks last month or the last couple of months?
The perforation, the seeding, and the scarifying took place in the summer. There was some question as to releasing one of the parks, in particular Daniel Rodriguez or Daniel Gutierrez Park, a little bit early. And of course, you can see the effects. Additionally, we did have to do some repairs of some of the sprinkling systems and the valves because we've had people actually try to help us, but in doing so, they actually hampered our efforts. They do so thinking that they know what they're doing, and while they're doing that, they actually lose parts. So it doubles our work, and it also delays the watering of the parks. We did have a 3-inch pipeline repair at Nosotros Park, so that was down for quite a while. Our crews were trying to manage that. Since it's located on the south side of the park area, it wasn't seen immediately, so it took us a while to get there. Now, regarding shades, we're currently trying to get some bids on some shades. We're going to be installing those in the next few weeks.
Good.
And we have the bids for the benches, we have the bids for the drinking fountains, which is presented to you tonight. And so once you award that, then we'll proceed with the contract and start working on those parks.
Mr. Savine, you were present at the last town hall meeting, and you know that the citizens were very concerned about Rodriguez Park. Have we done any improvement to respond to the community? They indicated the trash was really bad sprinklers, and lighting needed to be adjusted.
We did repair some lighting. We're still reeling back from the storm damage during the wind storm. We were in the process of finishing up some of that work. Just recently, IID informed us that they did repair some of the lights. So our crews were still busy with that. We did go to some of the parks and repair some of the lights. We went to the downtown parking area. We repaired the multitude of lights out there. And so we're constantly looking. If you see one, please let us know, let me know, and I'll inform our staff. Regarding Rodriguez, we have somebody that's adopted a park, and therefore they're taking care of it. But again, sometimes their help hampers us because we've gotten complaints that sometimes the water has been left a little bit longer than it used to be.
Well, it's good to hear that we've made some accomplishments.
In addition, I think there are some people that have thrown some trash, and some of this is unseen, so we had crews that actually cleaned it up, and we had advanced service clean it up last week. So that did take place.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sure.
On parks, ladies and gentlemen, and council and city staff, you know, look at the people that constantly come up here. What is one of the main priorities that this community is so concerned? Parks. I just implore everybody here that we put our heads together and our resources, and we seriously respond to the needs of the community. This is a large priority, and personally, I'm just tired of listening to the legitimate complaints, and we don't seem to do anything. Park across the police department. I'm sorry to the public. I apologize. I don't know what it's going to take. I will try my best, and it's not that we don't care. Everybody on this commission, on this council cares. But I just don't think as a collective will, we don't see it as a priority. I don't want to hear an excuse that we don't have money. I'm sorry, I don't accept that. If there's a will, there's a way. And if it's a priority on your part, then it better be damn well a priority on our part. That's what we're here for. So I know that we will continue, but get in our faces. Keep complaining, and something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. I don't know when, but we'll make it happen. I'll try my best, because I'm jealous. I'll tell you right straight out. Brawley has great parks, so Central. We don't. We don't. And we should. I'm just sorry. It just gets to me. So I've said my piece. Not to disparage or criticize anybody, but you know, you seem to be so concerned, and you keep coming up and keep coming up. And how long have we heard about the situation with the park across the police department, Rodriguez Park? And Mr. Savina, I thank you for your hard work. There is accomplishment. But we need to set a new pace here. We need to listen to the community. They want, as soon as possible, real needs met on the parks. We have to step up somehow, some way. So, and I'll hold myself accountable and I'll do my part. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge. Mr. Moreno.
Well, I think Mr. Hodge should adopt a park. How about that, Mr. Hodge? Let's adopt a park. I want to congratulate Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado for her great function she had. I think it was the weekend of October 27th. We were all there in support of her. And hopefully that continues on, bringing an awareness to breast cancer. Also, Ms. Daniels, seemed like a very pleasant Ms. Daniels, but in the interim, there was a lot of drama getting this thing off the ground, and I'm glad we got it off the ground. Thank you, Lieutenant Gerardo.
Yeah, thank you.
We look forward to many of those. I know Mr. Hodge and I are working on several items, but I think the one that we need to really focus on is the town hall meeting. I know we didn't meet with that.
Thank you.
And I'm not sure if we had set a date. I know it was one of the dark Tuesdays. I'm not sure if it was in November. We're going to go back over to the West Side Fire Station, Firehouse number 2, I believe it's called, and share with the people there, or not there, but I think another Esquer building, I believe it was. And follow up on the things that were discussed, and look at the progress that we made since July 31st of 2012.
And I commend you for that excellent idea.
Okay.
The follow-up. That's an excellent idea.
So hopefully we'll get the date set, unless we already had it set, and I don't have it on my calendar. Did we have a date set?
I forgot.
About a date, but I don't think we
No date set.
Okay. We had all this other stuff going on.
trying to work around the holidays.
Right. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. We continue the meeting and go on to the next person.
Thank you. Mr. Castro.
Yes, I would like to give thanks to the police department in hosting Calexico Talent Show for the benefit of the kids and budgets, and also to the parents who took their kids. I went to that event, and that event was great. For me, it was excellent event. And also,
I'm sure they had a good MC, right?
I was
yeah,
not familiar
you
with
was the MC, right? So yeah, you did a great job, John. So also there is some the update. I want to know the update on the issue about the transit service related to the Calexico Esport, Mr. Mayor. I don't know if you remind, but we went to Mexicali and we spoke with the alcalde in Mexicali to try to work with the other company, transit service in Mexicali, and I didn't hear nothing about that. In order to coordinate Calexico and Mexicali to bring the customer from Calexico Esport to Calexico traditional border, or to downtown and other business like Walmart, swap meets, and most every part in the city of Calexico. And I'm very concerned at that because December, Christmas time is around the corner. So I think that we need to hear an update on that. I'd like to know what's going on that.
Well, there's two issues there, and I will gladly give you an update. One is that the Mayor Mexicali and myself have not been able to put a date together, which I had extended after the last meeting that we discussed this, that Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado was going to accompany me. Second, the discussions were not pressed to when we're going to have the next meeting, since we didn't have a busing company that can go out there to offer the service. Since this busing service is going to be leaving the city of Calexico, then I would expect it's going to require PUC authority. So anyway, that's where it's at right now. But this is something where the Mayor Pro Tem Maritza Hurtado can continue with it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is that all?
That all.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem.
First of all, I'd like to indicate that I got a little reminder from my friend who's sitting in the audience, Carla Flores. She works for the Area Agency on Aging. She reminded me that ARC also has a similar service that takes patients to their doctors, correct? And ARC is I forgot what ARC means, but so we do have that extra service here in Calexico. Thank you to everybody that went to Think Pink. It was very successful, more than I expected. The most important people that were there meant so much to me because this was my 10th year anniversary as a survivor, and we raised quite a bit of money for Between Women here in Imperial County. October was a very busy month for me and my friends that are very involved in the breast cancer movement, and it was really nice because also we did another event called Lazo Rosa with Mexicali officials, and we met at the border and we had a meeting there and speeches, and we released balloons, and so it was just nonstop activity for breast cancer awareness. And to finish off the month, I was invited by the consulate here in Calexico to assist with the Dia de los Muertos, which was actually dedicated to those migrants who have lost their battle to breast cancer. So the altar was in pink, and so that was really cute. Work-wise, there was a pool meeting that we just went to, and we are continuing with the plans together with the school district about the pool. Things are looking really good. There were a few changes, which were positive changes as far as how the property will be taken care of, the old property where the pool used to be. And so that looks really good. We're still working together, and a few added individuals coming in. It looks like we have the JPA agreement in place, ready to go. So we should be starting to get that rolling, and we should have some information really soon. I also attended the talent extravaganza. I had a great time. It was amazing the amount of people that were there. It was overwhelming, and it was just a really good time. I really had a great time. You did a great job, Mr. Hodge, and of course, Mr. Moreno.
Yes, always.
Yes, always. I'd like to finally mention that there's going to be a toy drive on the 1st of December by the Southwest Border Bikers. And what the Southwest Border Bikers is, it's a group of law enforcement officers that like to ride bikes. Not the bicycle bikes, but motorcycles. And they're going to be benefiting the Kids and Badges program of the City of Calexico. So that will be Saturday, December the 1st, and it will be a bike run, so anyone who wants to come out, make sure you come and join us. So besides that, I think that's it.
Thank you. Okay, first and foremost, I wish to congratulate Councilmember John Moreno, not only for being re-elected, but also being to date the highest vote getter. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sure you do well. I wish also to congratulate Councilmember Luis Castro, what appears to be the top vote getter of the remaining third seat. Congratulations, Mr. Castro.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, and I'm sure you'll do well as well. Also want to extend congratulations here to a member of the audience, school board trustee, and now council member-elect, June Kim, that to date he's the second highest vote getter. Anyway, congratulations to you guys. The people of Calexico have spoken and their voice has been heard. Although I received more votes than in 2008, it still falls short for being re-elected. I am honored to have served as council member, mayor pro tem, and mayor, but I will save the rest for the December 4th reorganization meeting. I'll say this, that we have been defeated, but we have not been beaten. Just maybe we'll see you during the 2014 campaign. My respect and all favorable considerations to Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado. You have been professional, strong, and very community-minded. I know you weren't going to expect this. I know you will do well as our mayor, and Mr. Hodge as Mayor Pro Tem, and after the reorganization on December 4th. So good luck to you, and I'm sure you two will do well. I will be attending the future council meetings, so with my popcorn and soda and peanuts.
Sit next to Mr. Gonzalez.
Yeah, I'll sit next to Mr. Gonzalez. I'll even share the popcorn with him. I want to bring to attention that there's a code issue on the property adjacent to Hermosillo's car lot in regards to a structure that does not meet code. I understand it's been reported, but nothing has been done. Mr. Servin, do you know anything about this?
Where's this now?
It's just on the other side, on the south side of the fence that borders the Hermosillo's car lot off of, behind 98 and, what is that street? George?
It would be west of that house.
Yes. Anyway, if you can look into it, just visit Mr. Hermosillo, and I'm sure he'll be more than glad to point that place out.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Retention basin, off Andrade, Holdridge, and Rosas. The east half of that retention basin is getting more than plenty of water, but on the west side, it's minimal. Can you find a balance in there so the other half can get some more green there?
We actually checked it today because the sprinklers were off, so we don't know what happened. Part of it was discovered when we were setting the timers because of the time change, of course. So we want the sprinklers to come on at a certain time. And in discovering that, we noticed that the time was offset somehow. Don't know how that happened, but I think it's already corrected.
Great, excellent, thank you.
Sure.
And I understand we have some trash cans out there with, I don't know what TRACH means, but if somebody can go out there and do some spelling.
Forgot my spell check.
All right, one of the things that, I'll say this to Mr. Hodge, your passion for the parks is commendable, but one of the things that you always have to take into consideration is fiscal responsibility. If you add money, you add resources to those parks, then you're taking away from somewhere else. So when council or staff decides which way it's going to go, always take into consideration that when you move money in this direction, then something else is going to get impacted. So good luck in that balance. Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado, I also wish to thank you regarding the Think Pink Gala. Unfortunately, my wife Margie was not able to accompany me. She was at a wedding of a niece in Tijuana, but I can assure you that we're looking forward to your quinceañera. Okay, your second quinceañera. All right, and also to Diana Daniels for her success with the walking of the dogs. Although, as I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, one of my dogs, just like me, was out of condition. I had to carry him, and if it went any further, we both would be laying on the grass there. The talent extravaganza by the police department. Again, I wish to clarify, not to be confused for the Calexico Police Officer Association. I think you guys did great. You teamed well with the Calexico Chamber of Commerce. Hildy, great job. Lieutenant Gerardo, excellent job. Sergeant Legaspi. Yes. And Chief Nujo also made a very good presentation, and Mr. Hodge, I really wish you go back to classes so you improve on your Jack Nicholson and all the other characters that you portrayed there. But that was great entertainment. Thank you very much.
I mean, I need to improve.
No, he shouldn't quit his teaching job.
Yeah. Don't quit your day job. That's
well. Thank you very much, Danny.
And final, before I step down, I do want to make a comment. again, regarding the swimming pool, as mentioned by Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado. This is something that not only has been ongoing, but it continues to go on. And we're all looking forward to naming or dedicating that swimming pool to Margarita de Necochea. One of the comments that has been received, and it has already been addressed during these meetings, is where there'd be a third pool, one for Olympic size for competition by hopefully the high school will be able to promote such events, and also already be ready for CIF competition. Another one would be for a recreation pool, which is about 3.5 to 4 feet deep. And the third one would be a wading pool that Mayor Pro Tem described as toddler friendly. And so we're looking forward to that. It's going to go into multi-phase. City Manager Rodriguez has been very much involved in the discussions, as he should be, as well as with these personnel in the school board trustees here at the Calexico. So let's hope that this thing happens by next year. All right, then we'll go to the consent calendar.
Mayor, if you don't mind, I do have an announcement. Just before Erica gets to you, so I'd like to make this announcement, and that is, last year we partnered up with the Salvation Army to do a toy drive. And unfortunately, this year when we contacted the Salvation Army, they advised us that when they distribute the toys, they were going to be distributed in El Centro. Last year we were able to have them distributed here for the Calexico kids. But unfortunately, due to budget constraints, their site would be El Centro. So we decided to launch on our own at this time and continue that movement for an annual toy drive. So you will see some of our staff approaching you in reference toys or donations. We hope to couple up a partner next year with maybe the PD and their major event, to try to do a better event for us. But this year we had an option of either dropping it or moving forward with it. So our staff will be active in trying to keep this annual toy drive alive for Calexico kids and the distribution of toys here in Calexico. So if Erica approaches you, go the other way real quick, because she's going to get you. So be prepared for some donations.
City Manager Rodriguez, too late. I've already been approached, and I assured Erica that we will be contributing. All right. And so now we'll go again to the consent calendar. What is the consensus of this council? Items 1 through 7, what do you want to do?
Pull 2.
Okay.
Pull 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to pull number 6.
Okay. Any other items? All right, is there a motion to approve 1, 3, 5, and 7?
So moved.
That'll make it easier. Let's approve the odd ones, and then we'll address the even ones. Okay, who said moved?
Ladies first.
Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado, second by Mr. Moreno, to approve consent items 1, 3, 5, and 7. Press the button to display your vote. Passes unanimously, 5-0. We'll go to item number 2, pulled by Mr. Moreno.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Ortega, and I think we should allow Neighborhood House to be part of this. They've been doing it. We shouldn't be going out of the county. So let's see what we can do with another request.
Okay, so you're asking for it to be
However, may I interject? I believe this was already approved.
Was it?
No, it's 1, 3, 5, and 7.
No. The relationship between the City of Calexico and IVSBDC, the last time he was here, he gave a presentation, and that day we voted on it, did we not?
Yeah. Yes, you did.
This is not to be approved today. That is there, or if you like.
Thank you. I'm Carlos Figari. I'm the director of the Imperial Valley Small Business Development Center. I would like to clarify a couple of things that Mr. Ortega did say to you that is not totally clear. Neighborhood House was the host agency of Imperial Valley Small Business Development Center. December 2011, Neighborhood House abruptly ended their relationship with Southwestern College. So The Imperial Valley Small Business Development Center is hosted by Southwestern College, but I work, I live, and I play here. And we already did this before. We created a program to help Calexico business owners. So this is not going out to San Diego. The SBDC has been here since 1995 and will continue to do so. So I wanted to make that clear because the way that it was stated to you, it left a couple of things out of it. So I just wanted to make sure that we are clear. This has already been approved. The only reason that we're here is because the payment has to go through the college and come back to us. This is the only reason why I am here in front of you this evening. That's all, sir.
If I could also clarify, I also skipped some items because of the limitation of those 3 minutes, which basically I tried to adhere to. At that time, we were the host of the SPDC for Imperial County. When Mr. Rodriguez, also Mrs. Suna approached us to provide those services as in kind, we said yes. The application submitted to the state said neighborhood house. Basically, we were going to provide those services free of charge, if you will, because they needed some kind of an in-kind contribution in this particular application. The other thing that then happened, we did go to see the city manager when the award was awarded to the city, and we asked him, is there anything that we can do to be more part of this application? Because the application itself, you can even subcontract the whole applications out. And we even asked, is there any way that we can be more part of the city so that we can work more in conjunction with the city? At that time, basically the answer was no at that time. But so we left it at that and says, please call us if there's anything we can do in order to provide services so these applications or these services is successfully done for the residents of Calexico. So essentially that's really basically the timeline. And we then we see that there's, instead of the services being provided as in kind, now they're being contracted out for over $100,000. Services that we were going to do free of charge.
But you do not have the
Could I finish,
services.
please?
Okay, don't, please.
Okay.
The reason that we could provide the services free of charge is because the SBDC gets Small Business Development Agency, SBA funds, to do those services for Imperial County. They are given funds by the federal government, by the state, to provide the services exactly that you may end up paying over $100,000. So it seems as though there's a mess of communication in terms of providing it to the council. That's something that you could get free of charge because the federal government and the state government is giving it, providing that to SPDC so that it can provide services to Imperial County. Why pay $100,000? If you are going to pay $100,000, it would be good if you could have gone out at least for a request for proposal, a request that maybe 3 or 4 other agencies could have also submitted, and then select the best one. Get the best, services that you can if you're going to, if you're going to do that. That's what I'm saying. Just be transparent, be fair, and get the best services you can. And you talked about budget. Why pay $100,000 for something that you can get free? Why do that, especially when you're talking about the parks? Especially when you're talking about money being so tight, people being laid off. How can you do that? And then the other one is, how can you just, without any transparency, just say, give it to them? I don't understand. That's not transparency. There was no request for proposal at all. To me, that's something, it just doesn't, that's not correct. The other part too is that we've been here since 1949. 1949. Okay, so we know this community, our people, they're from Calexico, we know the residents of Calexico, and we know what it takes to be successful to provide services to them. So essentially, I just wanted to make sure that you knew all the facts.
Thank you, Mr. Ortega. Mr. City Manager Rodriguez, I see in the background information, it says on September 18, 2012, The City Council approved the subrecipient agreement with IVSBDC. After City Council approval, the city was informed that the name of the host agency, which is Southwestern Community College District, should have been included in the subrecipient agreement. By reading this, you're telling me that if this would have been in the language on the September 18th council item for the council to vote or not vote on, that approve or not approve, that this would not be coming back to this council?
That is correct.
And now, regarding the, Mr. Ortega mentioned, and we have to clarify some of the facts here, the funds that would be used for this, that he was saying, are these funds available for use in parks and recreation?
No, they're specifically in the grant to be used in this particular purpose. You cannot use it for parks.
Okay, so you cannot use it anything but for what its intended purpose.
That is correct.
Now, in regard to the transparency issue, we did have a council meeting and agendas went out, so that was taken care of, correct?
That's correct.
Now, you have also the mentioned by Mr. Ortega as a request for proposal. Did you need to send out a request for proposal for that?
No, we did not.
Is that in the stipulations regarding the use of the grant?
That is correct. The state has already approved all the documentation.
The state has already approved that?
That is correct.
Any other questions by the council members?
Yes, well, the issue here, the main issue here is that we can save $1,000 to use, $100,000 to use for the benefit of the city of Calexico. That's the issue. And this is something that the administration should open this kind of projects or projects to everybody. And also, is there some others agency that from Calexico, are they, if they are qualified to submit those paperwork for that kind of money, for that kind of grants, we should be on top of those, and this is something related to administration. That's my concern, City Manager. What do you have to say about that? Because I mean, we are in a fiscal crisis. We have some streets and roads with problems. We have parks, and we can use those.
Mr. Castro, you can't use those funds for that.
Okay, but I know that there is another options. There is, we can use, you already said, I mean, no, we can use that for parks, but we can create some other projects. Not exactly what I'm telling you, but, I mean, the point is, we're talking about $100,000. That's my concern.
I have one question, Mr. Rodriguez. Do you have any records how the council, I have to apologize, how did the council vote when this was presented the 18th? Was it unanimous?
I think so. I think it was 5-0.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hunt, you have a question?
Yeah, but his point wasn't brought up. Maybe you believe it shouldn't be, but let me, and I apologize, I mean, I've studied this, but now I'm looking at it in a new way. Okay, Mr. City Manager, help my memory or understanding. This micro enterprise facade loans and grant, micro enterprise technical assistance, doesn't this sort of come up every year? This for helping small businesses?
Yes, the money is for using small businesses, that's correct. If you recall, we had a program under the former redevelopment agency, which was what this program is patterned under.
My memory serves me, when it's come up, we've never included, correct me if I'm wrong, Imperial Valley or the technical assistance from this gentleman's services, is that correct?
No, the redevelopment agency's program was specifically for storefront. The application that was submitted was for storefront and technical assistance. So it was two different parts.
But in the past, we had that. What I'm trying to say is this is the first time we're including this gentleman's services. Is that not correct?
That is correct, because the application had two parts. this software and the
Or has it
technical
always
assistance.
had to?
No, it's just this time, this is the
Just this
application. Under the redevelopment, we did not have a contracting out of technical
All right,
assistance.
so this is not, this is a grant,
That is correct.
so it's not coming out of our pockets or anything like that, is that correct?
That is correct.
The services, Mr. Ortega, the services you provide.
Yes.
On your honor, you feel very sure that it's duplicates the same services?
Yes, we
It's offering?
Yeah, we've been doing this for at least 10 years. And going back also to the comment that you cannot use it for parks, obviously, there are restrictions on grants. But if you save $100,000 from not giving it to Southwestern College, you can give it to surely to the recipients that are eligible for that grant. You'll have more money to help the Calexico resident. How can you not say that? That if you give it to San Diego, 100,000, or you give it, or we do it free of charge, there's certainly all the clients that are eligible for their grant will have more money for them. There'll be more money for those eligible people in that grant. And you follow the guidelines and you provide more money to the residents of Calexico. You will save $100,000.
Mr. Mayor? We can't use it in any other manner.
Yeah, but you can then give it, what you say, if you save $100,000, there's clients eligibility for that grant. Then you can help more clients, you can help more people in Calexico with that grant.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, I believe that we need to bring back this discussion to council, because we have voted already.
So let me get, there is an offer, there's an acceptance, it's in writing,
And approved by
As a
the
matter of
state.
fact,
and
it's
it's
right
approved by
here.
the council, so the,
Remember,
It's right here.
is that correct?
Yes, it is.
But why wasn't Mr. Ortega?
I have, wait a minute, I have a question.
Sorry.
There is
I'm
an
not aware
offer?
that any contract was signed after the September 18th meeting, because when it came, this was referred to me probably in the last 2 weeks, just for the question, can we change the agreement to put Southwestern College as the host agency? And I said, well, it needs to go back to council, because you're contracting with a different party that wasn't listed in the council agenda materials when it was approved on the 18th.
So who was listed as the council?
It was just the IVSBDC on the September 8th contract, 18th council item, and on the draft contract in the council agenda packet. Southwestern Community College, as the host agency, wasn't part of that. So I advised staff that it should come back to council for approval of the revision to the agreement, because it's a different party that's part of the agreement. I understand it's still this company or IVSBDC going to provide the service, but the host agency issue wasn't listed in the prior agreement.
See, it's a nonprofit organization to help the...
It is.
There.
And let me clarify a couple of things. I created, this is not just services. I created a complete curriculum, which has been approved by the state of California as a model for every city in the entire state. So it's not just little services. It's a 45-hour curriculum that people need to attend in order to be eligible, so they can, once they get this facade financing, they can actually understand what they're getting into. So it's not just the little services that we provide. It was customized for your business owners in Calexico.
So to what you're saying right now, the resources of these funds will be used within the city of Calexico?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Do you feel, sir, that your services are on a different level or different kind than Mr. Ortega's?
With all due respects, yes, they are. And actually, Mr. Ortega hired me to work for him, but then he just vacated the hosting of the SPDC. So, yes, sir, they are, with all due respect to Mr. Ortega.
Let's bring this thing back to council. Mr. Moreno, you pulled this item. What is your wishes?
Well, I guess I've heard of what I needed to hear, and I think we need to approve this, so I move to its approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado. Everybody please press the button to display your vote. Thank you. Gabby? Passes 3-2. Okay, item number 4, Mr. Moreno.
Yeah, a point was made earlier, I think by Mr. Gonzalez, that these park benches are not to be placed in retention basins. However, looking at a couple of the parks listed on this agenda report, I noticed that we have Daniel Gutierrez Field in Las Casitas Park. Am I to assume that these are not retention basins? Daniel Gutierrez Park is a retention basin,
Yes, it is.
and so is Las Casitas?
I don't know about
And
Las Casitas.
is there an issue with putting a park bench in a retention basin? Maybe if it gets flooded, right?
Well, it doesn't even have, just, what's flooded? Even an inch of water that they can't step on.
When we applied for the grant, which was several years ago, those parks are already listed on there, so we can't change the location.
But you
Yes, I know.
described them as parks. They're not parks, they're fields, if anything.
Semantics, I guess.
What was that again?
Semantics. We have a dual use parks, retention
They would
basins.
be okay there.
Yes.
It's already been approved by agency?
All the documentation with the state, if you will recall, this is one of the grants that we almost lost, and we asked for an extension. And we were able to secure an extension. So all the documentation in the parks, where they were going to go, has already been approved by the state. We just need to get it done.
Okay.
This is one of those items that, yours truly was attacked, that something that the staff had been working on for years, as if it was done just recently.
And unfortunately, for whatever reason, it wasn't implemented. And so, again, we were at the verge of losing the grant. We asked for an extension, so obviously, we're not going to get another extension. We just got to get it done.
Right.
Mr. Moreno?
If there's no further questions, Mr. Mayor, I motion for its approval.
Second. Second.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno and Mr. Hodge. Please press the button to display your vote. Unanimously, 5-0. Thank you. Item number 6, discussion and action on approval of agreement between City of Calexico and Hunter Employment Agency for traffic control staffing services. Mr. Castro.
Yes, I have a question to Mr. John King, the finance director.
Oh, Quinn.
Quinn, not King, Quinn, okay, Quinn.
Yeah, because maybe the guy back there will get up and come over.
It's called Frank.
That's right, yeah, Frank for short.
Yeah, Frank, okay. Well, my question is, Mr. Quinn, what is the cost to continue with this Hunter Employment Agency in order to employ temporary employees? What was the amount cost for that hire employees? Do you know that? How much it's going to cost for us, the City of Calexico, in order to contract with this Hunter, I believe it's Hunter Employment Agency?
Correct. The cost for these particular people is, I believe, $11.84 per hour.
Page 11. Page 11, council members.
Yes, okay, it's right here. But provide has estimation. Yeah, but how much is the city going to pay for this? That's my question.
1184.
It's 50,000, isn't it?
50,000.
Oh, okay, 50,000.
The total contract is 50,000.
50,000, okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Up to 50,000.
Up to or 50,000?
Last year, we used every single penny of it. So it's very much needed, obviously. If any of you were last Friday trying to come on 111 like I was to the football game, you know we need those traffic controllers now.
Okay, yes, I understand that. But what about if instead to get a contract with this company, that if we contact with a student from IBC through a work study program. Did you know about that?
I think the lieutenant can help us out with that, as to who they use to staff, and it's more than just these.
Mr. Castro and City Council, we do use students from IVC for this, but they only supply us with 4 to 6 students. It takes anywhere from 12 to 14 people to actually conduct the traffic control services during this high season, which actually started about 3 weeks ago, all the way to about February, April. So we do get work study students, whatever they have available at IBC. And that's who we hire first, work study, and then if they can't seem to man more people or send more people down here, then that's why we ask for Hunter.
Okay, but so you mentioned how many employees that we hire from
IBC
up to date?
Right now, IVC has given us 4, and we asked for more, but that's all they have. And with Hunter, we have up to 8 people available, so we won't use all 8. We'll use 6 one day, we'll use 4 one day, another day, and it depends how bad the traffic is.
As the need arises.
As a need, yes. And sometimes, yeah, you will see them standing around there for about an hour, just look like they're not doing anything, but then all of a sudden, this is Calexico, you get another 60,000 people going back to Mexicali, and it goes all the way past 111, close to Cole.
Past Cole.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm concerned about this issue because I spoke with, I believe it's Maritza, that's the executive secretary from that work study program, and I asked her, and they can contact with the employees, and they can help us right away with that. And also, I didn't know that, but she told me that the city of Calexico, if we work with the work study, the city of Calexico is going to pay only that 35% of the payment for those employees, and the rest, I believe that the 65%, they pay for that. So that's when we can save up to probably, I don't know, 60% of the cost of the 8 employees that we need. That's my point.
It's very true, but the problem with the work study students is the fact that when they're on vacation, they don't work. Holidays, they don't work. The work study students are mandated when school's in session. So what happens is Hunter, when Hunter comes in, Hunter, they're an employment agency. So if we need them on Sundays, they'll be here on Sundays. If we need them on holidays, they're here during the holidays, and they're here during Thanksgiving break, when the IBC is shut down, they're shut down. Christmas break, they're shut down too. And we don't get work study students then.
So basically, we backfill with the people from Hunter. We obviously try to I shouldn't say take advantage, but we utilize the people from IVC as much as we can. But there's so many voids because of the school. When they're out, they're not here, so we can't rely on them. So that's why we have to have the backup with Hunter to be able to call these people in whenever we need them.
So you said on the weekends, they can work?
Some of the week on Sundays they don't work. The work study students don't work on Sundays. we'll have them Monday through Saturdays, and then they're only limited to work so many hours a week too. 20 hours a week. 20 hours a week.
May I ask a question? There's also, I believe, limits in how you use those employees, because I've used those type of temporary employees and programs all the time. Whenever you can take advantage of things that are free, you're going to want to do that. However, I believe that the program itself will allow you to have that staff, but that staff cannot be replacing a permanent position or something like that, where, right?
They're there to supplement us.
They're there to supplement, but they're not going to be your primary staff. So there's a lot of different limits. Am I correct, Oscar?
And the problem is that the 20 hours in 1 week, when you're working the high peak traffic, I can do it in 2 days. And it creates a problem because then it's my staff and myself, because I oversee the traffic controllers, it's hard. You know, when I'm getting calls at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night going, traffic's still down there, and where's your people? And I'm like, then I call who's working, and she says, well, I had to send my work study students home, and now I only have the 100 people with me. So it gets hard, but we manage.
And obviously, the priority for our officers are to provide for safety for the community. We don't want our officers to be doing traffic control. So we try to make sure that we don't have the lieutenant out there doing traffic control.
We want to make sure our officers cite people for driving in the parking lot.
We've talked about that. This Friday, if we would have had them, I think we would have pulled about 50 tickets. On that.
We do that, right, Mr. Romero?
Yes, you do. Okay, thank you. That's it.
All right, Mr., there are no other questions. Mr. Castro, you pulled this item. What is your wish?
Make a motion to approve this item.
Is there okay, second, motion by Mr. Castro, second by Mr. Moreno. Press the button to display your vote. Oh, they're already there. Passes unanimously, 5-0. Okay, let's go to item number 8, discussion and interaction on award of bid proposed by Plumbers Depot, Inc. in the amount of $382,420.19. Equipment cost with a 60-month lease purchase, 3.1% interest rate for purchase of a truck-mounted combination jet vacuum machine.
Public Works will give us a staff report on this.
This has come to you before, and before there was a little discrepancy in some of the, I guess, specs that we had, a little confusion, so you decided to have me take it back and re-advertise. We re-advertised, we got the same bidders. There were some others that just didn't bid on time, so they're not shown here. There were a total of 4, but the others just didn't make it on time. Anyway, Plumbers and Haker. Haker, you'll notice that it's a lower bid, but however, I'm recommending that we reject the bid because they specifically stated that they are not going to provide the transmission, and the reason for not providing the transmission is that they feel that the one they're going to provide would be adequate. But we specifically asked for a bigger transmission because of the loading and the conditions that we deal with throughout the city. We wanted it to last a long time. So we're paying a little bit more, right? Essentially 20,000 more. And the price has actually gone down from the first bid. And I believe it's a good machine. I've called around several cities that have both machines, and I've gotten very good response out of the Plumbers Depot, the GABAC machine. The Raptor machine, although being a very good machine, by comparison on a one-to-one basis, it seems like the GABACs will suit our needs much better.
Questions? Well, there is you're through with your presentation?
Yes.
David King.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Going through this whole bid process,
Sir, can you please state your name and address?
David Kane, 4378 Hallfinger Way, Riverside, California.
And if you could share with us, you represent?
Haker Equipment Company.
Okay.
going through this whole big process has been, needless to say, back and forth and back and forth. On the first bid that went out, I tried to get a hold of several people to try to tell them that this bid was wrong, something was wrong with it, somebody is not looking at this bid, and I finally got a hold of Dick Servant, and I had a meeting with him, with Arturo Estrada, to show him what was wrong with the bid. They didn't even have a chassis in there, lack of horsepower, didn't see a tandem or a single axle. Nick did meet with me, finally, and then before, this is when he just started, and Arturo Estrada was just taking over. They did notice that there was definitely something wrong with the bid. Nobody was looking at the bid at all. And so that went out and it got stopped, and I sent them a set of specs. Took a few months for it to come out, and when it did come out, in the specs, you know, when you set us to the specs, it's not our job as a vendor to proofread it, to make sure you know what you want. It is the city's job, and in that, Nick sat here after the bid was done and said, why didn't you choose stainless steel? Well, because you gave me an option on the water tanks. You gave me an option. It says right in your bid, and I got a copy if anyone wants to see it, highlighted, it's stainless steel or aluminum. Now, putting that in the bid, you have to realize that one of those two are going to be picked. And one of them that is picked may not be your favorite, you still put it in the spec. It's part of the spec. So when someone does pick it, I don't think it's right that you go, oh, that's not the one I wanted. Well, then you shouldn't have put both of them in. You should have been specific on what you wanted, okay? There it lied on Haker Equipment Company as a vendor. It made us feel, oh, no, you guys are wrong. We did everything that the bid called for. We were $80,000 low, and it got passed through council like it was nothing. And I don't know if you guys were aware of everything that was going on, but when we sat here, it got passed through council like it was our fault. We did not bid stainless steel. That's not the case. The case was we were offered a choice. We took one of the choices, and obviously it was the wrong choice we took. It was the less favorite that was desired. So we go out to rebid again, which is fine. They put in stainless steel, take out aluminum. We bid it. Now, in the first bid, the previous bid, it says sewer truck lease to be leased. It didn't have anything in there on what type of lease. But I did throw some leasing numbers at them at that time. I met everything on the first one. $80,000 low bid, still didn't get it. Very surprised. Very surprised on that, knowing that everything that's been talked about here from the last city council meeting I was at to now, it's been number crunching. We're on a budget. How can we save money on this? How can we do this? How can we do that? And for that $80,000 savings to be passed by so fast, just kind of makes me wonder what's really going on. So we go out to bid again. So we bid stainless steel. Again, the leasing options were not in there. So I figured from my last bid being $80,000 low, and it still didn't go through, that I'm going to go ahead and just go word for word on the bid that was reissued. So that's what I did. There was no type of lease in there, so I did not provide any leasing for him at this time, because there was no type of lease. If I was going out to bid and I said, I want a car, would you send me a bid on every single car in the world? No, you wouldn't. It has to be specific, and that's what it was not. And that's what I was told, that's why it was being turned down, is because I did not provide leasing numbers. But now it's because of the transmission I'm hearing now. But for the Vactor and the manufacturer, we asked about that transmission. There was no need for that transmission, for that torque for our size of truck. There's just no need for it. It's an overkill, and the factory did not recommend putting in that transmission. So we've got thousands of units out there that are running the smaller transmission, the ones we always put in every single one. You know, we are the #1 supplier in sewer trucks. So not having that big heavy-duty transmission in there is not a problem. All your surrounding cities all have the smaller transmissions, not the big, huge one with all the torque. All of them have them around the surrounding cities, and they all run fine. There's never been a problem with it. So this is my first on the transmission part of it that I'm hearing. Again, I'm set over $17,000 low bid on this. You know, we talked about saving money. We talked about, I heard you guys talk about the park benches. If there's a will, there's a way. Well, I found the way. It just will you do it? $17,000 for the picnic benches and tables, that'll cover that. The drinking faucets, that'll cover more than half of the cost of the drinking faucets in the parks, which is $25,000. It's just very surprising that when everyone talks about being strapped for money, that's so fast. I'm going, let's spend it. I've been with Haker Equipment Company for 25 years. I've never seen a city fight so hard to spend more money for the same equipment that everybody else uses. It is amazing. This is the third time this thing's gone to bid. The third time. I can just imagine the cost of everyone and the expenses of going through all this. I mean, if someone came to me and said, I'm gonna save you $80,000 on the truck, and someone did the research and found out all the surrounding cities around here have them, and we're the largest company out there, I'd be going, how come we're not going with that saving $80,000? I wouldn't be going, no, we're gonna give it to Plumbers Depot. I mean, they were actually gonna give it to Plumbers Depot at $80,000 high. $80,000 high, and it was gonna go by council like it was nothing until we came in here, me and Matthew Woods, and presented our case. And that's when it went out to rebid. If we didn't show up, I guarantee it would have passed. I'm not here to sell a truck. I'm here to support the city of Calexico. You guys are already a customer of mine, and I care about that. If I didn't care about it, I wouldn't have tried to get a hold of Nick or somebody so bad when the first bid went out, when no one even knew what chassis it was or anything else. I would have just went, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and bid this. I'm gonna give them the cheapest chassis. I'm gonna give them a bare bones deal. That's not the way I work, and that's not the way I'm gonna work. And that's why I got a hold of Nick and said, we need to change this. Nick stood up, shook my hand, and said, I want to thank you for being so persistent on getting a hold of me and getting this straightened out. As being the responsible low bidder, I hope council will review this more and award Haker Equipment Company the bid for being the responsible lowest bidder. You guys got any questions?
I do not. Although my questions would be more towards the director. Anybody have any questions?
Okay, sir, I will start with clarification. So first it was the stainless, what now?
First it was stainless or aluminum. That was in the bid.
That was the issue, and you corrected that, correct?
He offered aluminum, and they
No, I
wanted
know it
stainless.
originally, but later you offered...
Stainless.
It went out to rebid because they wouldn't accept it.
Okay, and then we thought we were okay, and then something else comes up?
Yeah, then they changed. Then they changed some stuff in the specs, and then the transmission, and then they were saying, well, we brought up later that we did not give leasing numbers. That's why I thought this was being rejected.
If I recall, you know, the memory, the first time we talked about this, that was only the issue.
Yeah.
the stainless.
Right. Nick said if you'd have picked stainless, we wouldn't be here today.
And yet you finally did, and now we have other issues.
Now other things have come up saying, you didn't do this, and, you know, my thought is, if you'd have stuck to your original bid and your verbiage on your bid, we wouldn't be here on the second time, because I picked aluminum and it wasn't the favorite that was given, so.
And now the new one is transmission?
Yeah, now the new one's transmission. I just think that, I've been really trying hard. Nick knows I've been going through a battle, even just trying to talk to people. I first started doing this and trying to get a hold of Alberto, and the man literally was in front of me acting like he was somebody else. And when he drove away in his car, I said, "Where's Alberto?" And they said, "He just drove away." I said, "You gotta be kidding me." And I let Nick know this.
Who's Alberto?
This is the battle I've been trying to fight, and I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. But this is an issue that should be really looked at and addressed. I don't think it's as simple as.
Sir, who's Alberto? What's his full name?
Well, Mr. Hodge, Mr. Servín, can you give us more information on this thing? Because if he has been going back and forth on this, as he said, it doesn't look well for the city of Calexico.
Sure.
Feels uncomfortable.
When I came on board, the specs were already written. They were written, I don't know by whom, but anyway, it was already out by the time I got here in October of last year. And so it was out to bid, and yes, he did bring up that issue, so we took it back, and I did thank him for bringing that up to me. And truthfully, I don't care which machine actually, if they were all follow the same specs, apples to apples, I would be happy with either one. Now, when I did the second bid, it said stainless steel or equal, not aluminum. It said or equal. Since there's no or equal, that was the basis of the discussion and the confusion that was brought on. So we decided to take it back. In this issue, this latest bid that we have in front of you today is the issue with the transmission. Yes, I did bring out the fact that in our cover letter, several points in there, I do bring out the fact of the lease. However, that's not enough to reject it. It's a transmission. We really want that transmission. But the real, I guess, my decision was based on actually calling other agencies. Some agencies actually have both machines. And I can tell you who those agencies are that told me that the GATBACs did a lot better in their routine operations, service, maintenance, than the Vector, bottom line. Every agency I called that had both machines. So that was the big seller for me.
The issue of the transmission, was it included in the language of the request for proposal?
Yes, it was.
Okay, now please educate us and tell us what's the issue with the transmission.
The transmission, we specifically call for a certain type of transmission, 4500 series. And they're providing a smaller transmission, bottom line.
And why do we need a bigger one when they're recommending a smaller one?
And other cities use it.
Well, again, my staff called other cities and they wanted to get the benefit of their mistakes, learning from those mistakes, and they opted to go with a bigger transmission. Although here in the valley we're flat, maybe some of the areas that they called were hilly areas. I don't know that, but the point is that I tried to rely somewhat on the operators, because after all, they're going to be operating the machine, not I.
Okay,
Is
now.
the operator by any chance Alberto?
No, he probably means Arturo Estrada.
Okay. The city attorney or city manager, maybe you can help with a clarification here. Every time we go out to bid, we usually give it to the lowest bidder. Why would we be giving it to the higher bidder on this occasion?
The city's purchasing policies say it's the lowest responsible or responsive bidder. And when a company doesn't meet the specifications that the bid documents requested, they can't be deemed to be responsive. So that's the situation.
So that's why.
So that's why they would be, the first item that staff is recommending, that Public Works staff is recommending, is reject the bid from Haker, because it, even though the price is low, it's not for the equipment that was in the bid proposal. That's what's under your purchasing policy.
Okay, and who, again, this is not one favor one or the other, but who within the city determines if it's one unit is more qualified than the other? I'll ask that question to Mr. Servin.
Well, it's written in the specs, and the specs were tailored after the machine that the operators would like to have because of certain operating features.
But you have a recommendation of a different type of unit. And so who's deeming it that it's unresponsive?
The specification is written in there specifying a certain type of transmission, certain type of engine, certain type of liner, certain other mechanisms, wheels, et cetera.
Oh, it's not in there?
Oh, it is in there. The transmission is specified specifically there. And in their bid, they specifically put quotes on there saying that instead of this, we're going to provide this other smaller transmission because we don't feel that it's necessary. And they're right. It's not necessary, but our operators would like to have it for.
But the RFP showed that this is what you wanted.
In our
Right?
specification,
All
yes.
right. Let me ask you this. Why would you change something of something that they recommended?
We talked to the factory, and the factory did not recommend putting that size of transmission in there. And on that note, if, on the responsible bidder, how come we weren't the responsible bidder on the first one when we met all the criteria? How come, and we were 80,000 low, how come we were not the responsible bidder and be awarded that then?
Because they provided code steel.
What's
that? Not stainless steel.
Well, you did say stainless steel
or equal.
Or equal.
No, you said, I have it right here. It says,
So
on the
equal.
debris tank, stainless steel or equivalent. On the water tanks, it's stainless steel or aluminum. I got a copy for everybody if you want it.
Can we see it?
Well, Council, I mean, this is something that you need to determine if you want to accept the status recommendation or go through this ordeal once more, and for each to present something specific to it. And obviously, if they change any language to it, obviously it's at their discretion. Now, how do you want to proceed with this item?
This is a street sweeper?
No, it's a vacuum truck. And plus it does a whole lot of other things.
So it doesn't-
Cleans the sewers, basically, the sewer and drains.
Piggybacking, I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
would have
Let
a
me make a
question.
statement here. I see the uneasiness by the Hager Company and others, including yourselves, and as far as I'm concerned, if you reject all bids today, that's fine. We can wait a while and
Okay, and if it's a reject all bids today, what happens next?
we have to rebid.
And how long will that take?
That'll take probably a couple of months.
How urgent is this unit needed?
We've been waiting for over 5 years. So
5
we can
years?
wait
So you can wait another month?
5 years?
5 years.
So you can wait another month?
A couple of months.
Okay, now,
I just want to say publicly here that there's nothing going on. I'm the new kid on the block here, and there's no previous.
Mr. Servin, you're a year here. You're not a new kid in the block, okay?
Okay, well.
He tells me that all the time.
You're part of the family, Mr. Servin.
Okay.
Anyway.
Nonetheless, I do want to clear the air here.
How does the council want to proceed with this?
Look, I'd like clarification. If we start all over, sir, you can meet these specifications, and we can save $80,000 or we can save some money?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you're offering an interpretation, or your manufacturer's offering an interpretation that for some reason it's not, I don't know, agreed to or accepted, so anyway, this is why that I made this comment. I'll give you an opportunity, please, just a couple of minutes. We need to decide on this thing.
Yeah, can you say something?
Wait a minute, go ahead.
I want to see if I can address on this matter here.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Juan Martin with Plumbers Depot. Just a quick note, so I'll take 30 seconds of your time. Mr. King addressed and he criticized the city for writing up specs that were unclear at the beginning. So the city turns around after hours, countless hours of research, they decided that they found a machine that they want, including the specific transmission. So they go ahead and write it after several council meetings and rejections. They reasons why that's needed, but he's sitting here and says, you don't need it. So if this gets pulled back, we're going to keep doing the same thing over and over. He's going to sit here and says, well, next time, well, you don't need this, well, you don't need stoplights, well, you don't need the third wheel. Mr. Servini and the staff had spent countless hours researching this, speaking with other customers that have them, other cities that have these units, to come up with the specific unit that would suit your needs, specifically to last long and require less maintenance money. In this case, he brought up a point in regards to the benches. It's not about being strapped for money. It also has to do with what type of equipment you're going to buy and how long it's going to last. You can buy park benches that only have 3 legs because you're going to save money. Are they going to work? Are they going to last? Are they going to be here 15, 20 years? No. That's the research they've done. They've researched a piece of equipment that's not going to last 8, 10 years. They researched a piece of equipment that's going to last 15, 20 years, that the city's not going to have to come up with $50,000, $70,000, $80,000 in 10 years to upkeep your piece of equipment that you don't have. Second of all, question for him is, if they can provide that transmission and a larger engine like we are, why can't they? Why do they have to stand here and make you change your specs when you criticize them because they were wrongly written at the beginning?
I understand.
Any questions for me?
I don't have any. Again, it's just an issue that's been going back and forth. Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado, you had a question?
I think that what I want to comment is that we as a council do need to pay close attention to our budget. And when the first bid came through, it was alarming, the difference. And I kind of want to say that this is like what we do at home. If we need a car, we're not going to go out and buy a Range Rover, like my daughter wants me to buy her a Range Rover. No, you buy yourself a vehicle that's going to take care of the business, take care of you, what you need. And since that first time, I was strongly concerned as to why we were looking at wanting to approve something with that huge of a difference. And right now, at this point, I'm much more uneasy because of the fact that now things are a lot more confusing than the first time, and I believe that we would be exposing ourselves to some type of liability if we move forward with this. So
Okay,
I will not
what is the
support.
consensus of the council regarding this item?
As I said, I won't support to. I believe that we would need to.
I mean, you can also motion to.
I'll motion.
Mr. Mayor, I also feel uneasy about this, just going back and forth.
Is there a motion to?
I motion.
Either table or to?
I motion to
continue
reject
this item to at a future meeting, or maybe to rebid or whatever.
Reject these bids at this time, and I believe
Both
that
bids.
staff, each director in.
Reject both bids.
Reject both bids. Each director of each department needs to let staff, if staff is going to be involved this heavily in purchasing equipment this large, they need to be very price conscious as well.
And not permit this thing going back and forth like it has been. It's a matter of disrespect to the two persons that are trying to, if anything, making a living for yourselves with the equipment that you're selling. City should not be having you two go through something like this. This is your motion?
Yes.
Reject all bids, second by?
No, second.
All right, then let's put it to a vote. Press the button.
So it's you.
To reject.
This is to reject both bids.
All, I would say all, because they
All
did say
bids.
there were some others.
What am I doing? Yes?
Right, you're rejecting.
Okay, the motion is to reject all bids, passes 4-1. Mr. Castro, well, you know. All right, then Next
Are
thing,
you directing staff to rebid it
yes,
then?
please. Well,
I would say, let it go back to staff, let me review it with the staff and the department heads and see where we go from here. I'm concerned that any and all bidders, maybe we need to have a bidders conference and make sure that we go through the specs so everybody is aware what those specs are going to be. I don't want to be before you again and not be able to award.
okay. So anyway, Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado asked that her motion be amended to include that, to send it out to bid again.
Yes, we'll meet with staff. Obviously, we, from what I'm hearing from staff, we need the equipment. Again, we'll take every procedure to make sure that all bidders are aware of what they're bidding on and go over the specs with them.
How are we cleaning it now?
Hence.
We give them a brush and...
We're getting by.
The last 5 years.
Do we have a por mientras plan?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, to both bidders, apologies that you have been going through this. This should not have happened. One should have been more than enough. Appointment of 2 city council members to participate in the city clerk interview panel. Since you two are resuming, Mr. Hodge,
I'll be happy to offer my services, sir.
What's that?
I'll be happy to offer my services.
We just need for you to be part of the interview panel, nothing more.
Well, that's my services, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Of course.
Okay, then Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado and Councilman Hodge will be part of the interview panel for the next city clerk.
Mr. Mayor, can we have a vote?
I'm sorry?
Can we have a vote?
Oh, sure. Second. Press the button. Abby. Passes unanimously, 5-0. Okay, informational items, status from Time Warner Cable dated 10/5/2012. Acknowledged?
Yep.
Any questions? Nope. 13, acknowledge receipt of September 2012 special analysis of the delinquent business licenses. Acknowledged?
Acknowledged.
Yep.
No questions? Okay, and by the way, in regards to the Hunter contract, thank you for including a copy of the business license. Nice touch. Any future agenda items?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hodge.
Mr. Survey. Certainly don't mean to harp, sir, but I will continue to be persistent on these future agenda items. Staff has yet to respond to my future agenda items, and I'll do my part by emailing and reminding and getting in there. But once again, we're working on what I've requested repeatedly. You call it a master plan, I've called it an action plan. You set the timeline or the dates, how long, 2 to 5 years, I don't care. But some kind of list that prioritizes streets and roads with dates, timelines.
Mr. Hodge, did you know it's been moved for another month or 2 because of the cold weather? Go ahead, Mr. Sedgwick.
Thank you.
Yes,
I just wanted to add that since when I got the news, it was obviously very frustrating.
You better believe it, as a private citizen, he's going to be here all the time
Yes.
about Coal Road.
Sitting right next to Mr. Gonzalez.
I'll give you one of my cards. Okay, yes, I'm working on the plan right now. We have a new kid that's helping us, and so, this list takes a while to prepare.
All right.
But we are working on that now.
All right, sir.
That's since February, right, last year?
Yes.
Yes, it takes a while.
All right.
No, we are working on another contract for some more streets to pave beyond what we have, in addition to Cole Road as well.
It's just a matter of transparency and plan and executing it, and so I'd appreciate that. The other area, Mr. City Manager, seriously, I think this is a priority. Again, I'm requesting that we plan. Do you have a plan to honor the employees or retired employees? In my opinion, the morale is down, and we need to raise that up. We need to respectfully give them recognition, and I would suggest some type of monetary award. So are we working on that plan?
Yes, I know that Erica's been working on it. I'll find out where we're at and give you an email or something.
I don't know what that is.
We are?
Mr. Hodge will be on the subcommittee for that.
Yes, from another subcommittee.
No, That's it.
Except on this, of course, it has monetary award to be in that subcommittee.
All right. Yeah, that is it at this point.
Thank you. Mr. Moreno?
Only, I know I brought up a graffiti issue, and I've noticed around the city that it's becoming a problem. It's surfacing again. I'm not sure if it's new tagging crews or what have you, but I'd like to see if we can get a focus group with maybe someone from PD, someone from abatement, to see if we can work on not only on policy, but on some type of remedy to this. You hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Will do.
May
We do have something planned with our volunteers from the PD and our explorers coming up.
Mr. Councilman, may I add something?
Yes.
Lieutenant?
I offered with the chief part of a solution, did a little research on murals. They
Okay,
say-
I know, you
murals.
had brought, you
And
brought
I'd
up
like to
Director
ask if-
Servin brought that up.
Yeah, is it okay? No, my idea.
No, Director Servin.
May I ask Hilda Carrillo, will that be on the next? Okay.
For the chamber,
No, for Arts
for the Arts
Commission.
Commission.
So that could be part of the solution.
Right.
I've discussed it with the BID, I've discussed it with the Recreation Commission, and I'm going to be discussing it with the Beautification Commission. They're all very enthusiastic about this proposal. The proposal, again, is to choose the alleys to start with, prepare a contest, invite all sorts of artists, mostly young kids, of course. It kind of sets the stage to, first of all, put some art, and I've sent you some samples of what I'm looking at. Some of the murals, 3D effect, very nice.
Those were excellent. That was very nice.
What's that?
Those murals with 3D effect, that was nice.
Yeah, very nice. So that has a triple effect on, first of all, focusing downtown, which we need more people to visit. Secondly, it focuses the alleys, so there's more interest, and hopefully it keeps away some of the people that are doing nefarious things out there. Additionally, it keeps the taggers from, well, tagging, yes, the murals, the art, because they respect each other. And hopefully, maybe another effect would be that some of those taggers would be artists themselves and participate.
Mr. Servin?
Yes.
I guess I'm assuming we were going in parallel directions here, because that's what I had thought up and recommended. So could we please include the Chief Newjar and I went in front of the Arts Commission to have them work something out? Could we include them as part of this process?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Moreno?
That's it.
Mr. Castro?
No future agenda.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Being that today we had discussions about our homeless situation, I'm sorry
that was Mr. Moreno.
Oh. I'm sorry, that Mr. Ortega left, because I understand that the neighborhood house has a homeless program. And so I believe that it's probably a good time, because it keeps coming up too, is to have a discussion about our homeless issues here in Calexico.
Presentation, maybe?
A presentation, I don't know, I would believe that would be your department, Mr. Gerardo?
No, there'll be a presentation. Asking Mr. Ortega, no?
I'm sorry?
Asking Mr. Ortega.
Well,
to
it would
make
be
the presentation.
probably to understand what we have as far as services for our homeless, because it tends to be a big problem here. And the only thing is, when you say anything when you're out in the audience, the recording doesn't pick up. So if you want to say something, it'd be a good idea to go over there.
It's not a unique issue, being homeless. I mean, it's all over the place. The thing here with Calexico is some of these homeless people prefer to be homeless because they drink alcohol, and they're not allowed at the shelter if you smell like alcohol. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be under the influence, but if you just come in and you smell like you've been drinking, those are the rules that they have to abide by. Another thing is, the homeless shelter, come 6, 7 in the morning, they ask you to leave. And you come back at, after 3:30, 4, 5, whatever time they see it, that you come back from work. That's what the men's shelter does. There is a shelter for women and children, and that one's run pretty smooth. I mean, they respect the rules, and they get taken care of pretty good. It's the men that like to be out here drinking are the ones that you see at the parks.
I think we should invite Mr. Ortega back and allow him to have a presentation, and for us to be informed, because there may be a thought that there isn't any services, because up until now, in the 2 years that I've served, I've never heard those services, how they operate and things like that. So I think that would be an excellent future agenda item.
Mr. Tyler, real quick, like with the homeless people, is any shelter that you give them, they have the rules they have to abide by, and like I said, drug and alcohol and violence is not tolerated, so some of these guys would end up being at the park, too.
But it's good to know, of course. It's important to know.
Is there also laws against vagrancy in the park?
Vagrancy we have no camping.
No camping, no drinking, I believe there's no drinking.
Yeah, no drinking.
Do we turn a blind eye to that?
They get cited, they get kicked out of the park, and that's why the gentleman came in here, because we've been going to the parks, we've been going with the city crews down to Border Park and removing the trash that they leave behind. And it's not trash that is their property, is that they leave the pieces of cardboard that they sleep in and all that stuff, and we remove that on a constant basis whenever we can. And our city employees have been threatened by these people because we're taking some of their stuff.
Thank you. The other issue is that it's been brought to my attention by a concerned citizen that we have an area for bicycle parking, which is right next to that park is that Paulin? Okay, right on Paulin between First and Second. And it appears that motorcycles not motorcycles, but mopeds and scooters are parking there all day long, when in fact it's not for that. Because a motorcycle or a scooter should park in a regular parking spot and pay quarters to be there. And they're taking advantage of that free area, and it's congested. There is no area for bikes. And of course, that's a loss of income for the city of Calexico, so I'd like to have that discussion on that too. Or just if you look into it.
Mayor Pro Tem, may I add to your concerns about the homeless? Yes, it is a common problem, and it's a very sad common problem. These human beings need help and service. I would like to recommend that we contact some type of expert organization sociologically that understands the plight of the homeless, and I'm certainly that they can make us more aware of their plight, their problem, and give some tangible, constructive solutions to helping the homeless.
Well, let's hear Mr. Ortega and
Well,
how
not
he-
only him, but also expertise.
There you go.
No.
Well, Mr. Ortega.
That study sociological situations like this and understand the psychological and...
Mr. Ortega, I think, may be able to give us that kind of information, but we can find out.
Okay.
We'll contact as many agencies as we're aware of, and they can, because there are services out there. I believe Catholic Charities also has a shelter, correct?
Yeah, Catholic
Lieutenant
Charities.
of Ron and Cena's, so we just need to be aware of it, but obviously there's more homeless than they have room for. But we can get them here to provide information on what services they have and where we can go.
That's it? Two things on my part, which I just remembered right now. One, the City of Calexico filed its financial report in July of 2012 for the period ending June 2011. And we had the issue about the report, the late filing, and we were not eligible for a grant, CDBG grant. And then it was filed and was accepted, but I'd like to see if Mr. Quinn, he has a letter there that is dated 2 months after it was accepted, a letter from the state controller. And I'd like to see if maybe that should be as an informational item that the state has acknowledged receipt and approved the report. Got that? Well, it's just a request. You can see the letter, it's inside his...
Yeah, well, I mean, we should have obviously a response from the state when they accept, when we submit you talk about the annual audit?
Right.
Okay, so we should have a receipt, obviously, in compliance, right? For the annual audit.
The sample letter is right inside his front door. Also, city manager, since It's going to go kind of quiet the week of Thanksgiving. I would like to see if we can have the agendas before the week of Thanksgiving, so this council can have more than a week to look through the agenda.
Our plan is to get them out on a regular basis as if we were going to have the meeting on the 20th. So they get it the week before.
So if we don't get it on by Monday, who do we call?
You call Gabby, I won't be around. No, we'll get it out.
All right, thank you.
Oh, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
So the idea is that the November 20th regular meeting would be canceled, and the city clerk will post a cancellation notice. But the other is that if council is inclined to do that and have the meeting on the 27th, then I would recommend that you adjourn tonight's regular meeting to November 27th, 2012 at 5:30 closed session, 6:30 open session.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, press the button to... As unanimously, okay, meeting adjourned to November the 27th. Thank you.